day I chose not to let anything win but my drive to get me to the top.
Frank Lee made the beat.
What it do, KTTV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live with another episode of the Daily K Podcast. And on today's episode, we have radio personality, TV host, and founder and CEO of Visible Evidence, Miss Meka Diamond. How you doing today, Miss Meka?
I'm doing awesome, and what an amazing introduction. I'm doing great.
Hey, hey, I'm just telling the truth. What to say? I'm just talking about you. So I want to say thank you for taking some time out of the busy schedule. I know you got a lot going on, you got a lot coming up, and it's so important to just get the word out and share with the community. So I appreciate you for
Yeah,
taking a few minutes today.
absolutely. I appreciate you having me on your platform. I really, really do.
Yes, and so before we jump into things, how have you been doing during this pandemic with everything you have going on?
Man, so the pandemic has actually been an amazing blessing for me. During this time, I have the time to pick apart my business because I haven't had the opportunity to be ripping and running everywhere and being busy and outside. So I've had the opportunity to pick my business apart and see some of the loopholes and some of the things that I have missed in between by being so busy. So by being able to concentrate on some of those things that I weren't able to concentrate on, now I'm running a tight ship now because I've been able to, really concentrate. I've educated myself. There were a lot of online classes that you can take. That was awesome. And so I've just taken the time to make sure that I'm educated, make sure I'm ahead of the game when it comes to business, and then also take time to really pick my business apart and put it back together.
That was one of the things that I talked to so many people about, and they saying that that's what they've been doing, just using this time of stillness
Yeah.
to really dig into what they have going on. You think about so many people who are going to come out of this millionaires or in way
Yeah.
better positions than they started. So I understand exactly where you're coming from.
Absolutely.
I love having Alief's on the show because as an administrator in Alief, it's so great to come back and get alums and just share that connection. Can you
Yeah.
give us a little bit of background on you, your work in the Leaf, and what even
Mhm.
led you to your career in media?
Man, so of course I am a representative of the Leaf. I go hard for my community and my area. And so I graduated from Elsick High School in '96. I was on the state runner-up championship basketball team for Elsick. I also, right. I also ran track. I got a scholarship in track. And so, I just represent my community, I love the camaraderie with all of the schools, Elsick Hastings. I don't think that there's any other school district like our school district because we're family oriented. Although that we go off, we're in different communities, we're in different cities, different states, but we always come back to our community for the greater good. And so by me doing the mixers and bringing everybody from the 80s, 90s, 2000s together, it just makes it's family. It's a family oriented community. And so why not pour back into that community with all of those who have gone to school with me, who graduated before I did, and even the generations to come. And so by me, of course, we're going to get into my whole purpose of really sticking in the Alief community besides what I love to do and love to be over there. But there was something that was more important than just what being around family in Alief. It was something that I wanted to do to create change in that community.
And so then that led to just the visible evidence that led into the radio
Yeah.
show. Like, how did that transition go from track star to media
Right.
person?
Well, I actually was a hairstylist in between
Okay.
that. I graduated I was a hairstylist for 15 years. And so I built relationships with those who were in my chair. I had, I was always the connector. Somebody was always calling me and asking me they needed a photographer. They needed somebody to do an event planning. They needed somebody to do videos, whatever the case may be. I was the connector to connect all of these people. And so I got into marketing. I was like, if I'm connecting all of these people, why not I get some profit sharing, some revenue sharing off of all of these connections that I'm making with these specific services that people were needing. And so I went into marketing, right? So I started getting clients. And then I started managing clients in the entertainment industry, actors, actresses, And so I end up being in PR. I end up going into PR because of all of these relationships that I built. So I was taking one of my clients to the radio station. And I was at the time I was looking for a place where I could send all of my clients to that had more than just radio. Right. And so by me going on different interviews, different stations, different podcasts, different talk shows and things of that nature with things that I have going on with myself, I was pretty used to interviewing. Right. And so I get to the station with my client. She's interviewing. And so I asked the station manager, what all do you have here? Just so I could see that if I could take my clients here and they can have everything in a one-stop shop, I don't have to go anywhere else. I can get filming, I can get advertising, I can get commercials, I can get radio, talk show, whatever it is was in one spot. And so an opportunity presented itself where there was a morning show that was open. And so the station manager asked if I wanted to try it out. And at first I said, no, I didn't want to try it out. And then I thought about it. I was turning 40 that year. And I said, you know what? I never backed down from a challenge. Let me just try it out for a week. Not knowing that it would be 4.5 years later and I would still be in that same spot that I was when I started that day. So that's how I got into media.
And well, I will tell you one thing. You're doing an awesome job. With the highlight that you're doing 4.5 years later, you're still so fresh in the morning time. So just keep up the good work on that. But that's awesome. We don't control what happens, but if you just say yes, then you never know what comes from it. So that's awesome.
That's it.
As I do the analytics on my channel, and I look, a big percentage of my audience are women between 30 and 45. So you are the Houston Promote Her chapter leader for the National Sisterhood of Women Entrepreneurs. So what does this organization do for women in the city of Houston? And as we go through these things, like we just talked about, are you seeing a rise in women entrepreneurs now?
I am. And so Promote Her is an international, as you said, women entrepreneurs. It's a sisterhood. And so what we do is we support each other. It's an ecosystem. So we support each other. We also educate one another. So in different cities, different states, what we do, we have mastermind classes. We have think tank sessions. We have things that we get together and we talk. We have, if you get down in your business and there's somebody in the business that can help you in specific areas, you go within your ecosystem instead of going outside of your ecosystem. And just for a prime example, if you were an author and you wanted to go on a book tour, you were releasing a book, where you can go on a book tour within our sisterhood. You can go from city to city, state to state, tap into the ecosystem of, if there's PR, if there's somebody that's in radio, they can utilize their services and resources. So it's an ecosystem where instead of us going outside, we go inside, and then we also learn from one another. So it's not the typical, as some would say, the caddy group of women that get together. We really are conducting business. Matter of fact, in Houston, we have an 18,000 plus square foot building on the north side where there's production. There's also, conference rooms. There's the site of Collaborate where you can go, and it's just like a WeWork system. Just all of those different things, but it's for Promote Her. And so in the city of Houston, what I have found with my Promote Her sisters here in the city of Houston, we are learning a lot during the pandemic. Things that we couldn't take time to do before. As I said earlier, now we have more time to get together and do virtual meetings with each other. We have more time to, if you have a level of expertise in a certain area, I'm able to tap into the things that you can educate me on. And so I'll be honest with you, with my business has skyrocketed during the pandemic because now I'm national. It's not just in the city of Houston. I have sisters that are in other cities and other states that I can tap into that are supporting me. So it's been very, very good for our sisterhood and all of the sisters in the Promote Her International Network.
As people are staying in the house and then with your business, how are you tuned in to the digital spaces such as the social media and the podcast platforms and using visible evidence to kind of help others to grow in that space?
Well, people have to understand what each platform is and how it works. There is a strategic method to each platform and how it works. Social media, a lot of people don't understand that social media is just a platform to build relationships. It's not a platform to close the deal. If you close the deal on social media, you got lucky. but you really are building relationships to lead them to wherever it is that you want them to go, whether it be a website, whether it be a virtual conference, whether it be a meeting, a seminar, whatever the case may be. You are building those relationships. That's why they added polls on social media. So you can kind of see your target audience and see what the marketplace is actually needing. So you can make sure that you say these things and do those things to bring exposure to whatever it is that you're trying to market. And so, once you understand that process, then you understand the exposure piece and the analytics and going behind the scenes and seeing what is actually working and what's not working. I'll be honest with you, I'm not an ad person on social media. I don't do a lot of ads because I'm specific in my target market with knowing what it is that I bring to the table, knowing what it is that I'm putting in the marketplace. And I'm making sure that I'm solving a problem to bring exposure to that problem. And so it's just a strategic method to it. So during the pandemic, and I teach my clients all the time with visible evidence, each platform is totally different. You have an EPK, you got magazine, you have all of these things you're sending to people, but you have to be target specific in the things that you send and the things that you put out there in the marketplace. So.
And like you say, solving a problem, what value are you bringing to others? That is powerful.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, man, okay. And so now, speaking of the radio with the GMT family, so I've been fortunate enough to work with Soup and Lola. I was on Chris' show. I had on my show. So I know the love over there. I know the awesome lineup. And like I say, even in the morning times, I would make sure that I catch your show because that Wednesdays you would have some awesome women before I got back to school and I was able to see things. So along with this platform, what are some other ways that you are getting a message out and a brand out as far as like interviews and TV shows?
Well, I am the talk show host for Meet Houston, which is a talk show that's right here in the city of Houston that's bringing exposure to things that's what's happening in the city. So I talk about, my favorite restaurants. I give some Houston fun facts, some things that people may not know about the city of Houston, which is very funny because a lot of people don't even know the history of different things that's within the city and been living here all their life. So I use that platform as a way to, bring exposure to whomever it is that's within the city, or even if they're not in the city. So those who are coming into Houston, they'll be able to know ahead of time what we have going on, some events that I've went to, some businesses that I've actually spoken to that they may be interested in providing services for them or a potential client. So I use those as well. I also have magazine companies that I have partnered with that's here within the city that I utilize that platform. And so the biggest thing is building relationships. If you build relationships, which you can have strategic partners in areas, then when you need to tap into those networks for whatever it is for yourself or your client to bring exposure to your business or an event that you have coming up, you built those relationships enough where it's like, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. And it's enough businesses, it's enough people in the city of Houston that we can all work together in order to bring exposure, the maximum exposure, if we just collectively work together.
And I would just say in the year that I really just been doing this hard, everything you're saying is like resonates so much because you have to understand that you have to build in those relationships. But once you get it, then the world is yours.
Listen, I wouldn't be where I am if I wouldn't have started building my relationships when I was a hairstylist. Those relationships have carried me to where I am today. And a lot of people, and community service, a lot of people, you have to, you make your cold market warm, you make your warm market hot when it comes to the marketplace. You have to build those relationships where if you go, prime example, Mary Kay. Every Mary Kay person, if you see them in the store, the first thing they do is they give you a compliment to spark up a conversation. The next thing you do, they have a consultation with you over the phone, a verbal consultation. The next thing you know, you're in their seat and they're doing a facial on you. It's building those, making that cold market warm. And so when people understand that and know I can't just cold call and it's going to happen right then, and I have to build the relationship with them, making it warm, then it goes to hot, then you'll understand the process and you won't be disappointed when you don't get that sale on the first time.
And speaking of that, just going back to like the Blackout Tuesday, when that was all about sales. That day, I was able to talk to Eugene Howard. And so we had a conversation regarding that specifically day and what it really meant on the underlying theme. but also it was around the unrest throughout the George Floyd tragedy. And being a political chair for the Brazoria County NAACP, can you talk a little bit about that role and how are you gearing up for next Tuesday?
Wow. So we have been gearing up for a while. So the role is I am pretty much involved in all of the political parties within the branch within the city of Houston. And so when it comes to different moderating, different meetings that we have where you have those citizens who want to ask specific questions for those who are campaigning, they have the opportunity to do that. A lot of times, especially in our culture, we go with the tradition. We don't really go with knowing who the actual individuals are in order with who they're campaigning for, the roles that they are campaigning for. And so what it does is it enlightens you to understand the process. There are a lot of people who don't even understand the voting process. And so what we have been doing is trying to educate those who are in our county, who are in Brazoria County, and even other counties to make sure that you understand the process as well as understand who you're voting for. What are they talking about? Asking specific questions. If you know that there's some things that you don't like, you have the opportunity to do that. So that's some of the things that we have been doing, making sure that we give the citizens, making sure that we give those like myself the opportunity to ask those specific questions. We also have our first annual Freedom Fund Awards event that's taking place on November the 6th, which is going to, we're trying to make sure that we bring the communities together. They're able to ask questions, honor those who have been doing a lot within the communities. So we're having that to be able to raise funds to do things that's going on now. It's a to get as far as myself gearing up for Tuesday, that's what I've been gearing up for, making sure that we as a culture and others know and understand the voting process. I've been doing Educate to Vote on my show, making sure people understand what you should do in the voting process and just pushing people to understand the behind the scenes things that actually take place when it comes to voting.
With that work, I know November 15th, 2017 was a big day. So you were awarded the Proclamation Day in honor of your late brother, Mr. Jackie Morris. So now, since 2017, how have you been celebrating this date, and what do you have this year coming up?
Wow. So it's a difficult time. It's an emotional roller coaster, and I'll say it's an emotional roller coaster because my brother was killed in 2007, and so he was killed in Alief at Amity Park. And so my promise to him was, I want to make sure that your name does not go in vain. People are going to remember you for the good things because I'm going to do the footwork on the ground to make sure that people understand each and everything that I do that's a part of community unity is going to be in your name and in your honor. So when I was awarded the day, that's why I chose November the 15th, because that is his actual birthday. And so since I started off with my feet on the ground for him when he passed away in 2007, I said, why would I not make his day and then have an event every year in honor instead of being home, being sad, being emotional, continue to do the same things that has been really helping me cope with the loss of him. And so every year we have an event titled Share the Feast. Our first year we had about 60 people that we gave some turkeys to, and that was it. The second year we decided we're going to do some boxes, and in our boxes we're going to box the meals according to how many people are in each family. So I partnered with some organizations that was here in the city of Houston, some churches that was here as well. And so we got names of people that were, having some difficult times, had some life realities, and they weren't going to be able to celebrate the holiday like they probably would have prior to the life reality. And so we got together, and that's what we've been doing. Last year, we fed over 350 people. This year, we're trying to do a whole lot more. We have collaborated and connected with the whole Fox family, who is donating all of the turkeys. They're one of our corporate sponsors. The World Youth Foundation. We also have Walmart. We have just a lot of people who have said yes, that we want to make sure, especially during this time, this pivotal time in the world, to make sure that they are having a good holiday this Thanksgiving.
That is powerful. And so with an event of this magnitude, I know there's work to be done, and there's also, even with the corporate sponsors, there's still help that's needed.
Yes.
So how can someone join in with you to make this special for the city of Houston?
Well, of course, volunteering and donations is always a plus. So this year, of course, being a different year and different times. Of course, it's going to be a drive-through event this year, and so right now we're needing side items. We're needing things that you would go with your turkey or your ham, such as the macaroni and cheese, the mashed potatoes, the greens, yams, the great, all of those different things. So we are asking, of course, for canned goods and things that all of the trimmings that goes with the Thanksgiving dinner to be brought to on November the 15th, to be brought to Good Hope Missionary Baptist Church. We're going to have an event there. We're going to start boxing the boxes between 9 and 11, and then the families are going to start coming to pick them up at 11. So we're either taking monetary donations, or if you want to purchase the items and bring them that morning to be able to add to the boxes, we are more than happy to accept them on that morning. But we are also giving boxes to Reconstruction of a Survivor, which is an organization that has a curriculum for breast cancer, those who are going through breast cancer treatments. We also have the Rose, which is another organization that does stuff for breast cancer as well. And then we have about 5 to 6 hospitals: Methodist Woodlands, the Katy, Pearland, UTMB, Texas City. We also have some HISD schools, as well as some churches that are here in the city also.
So making it a very big event, and it's all about other people. That's the awesomest part, man. That's what I learned. Like, life for me was fun, but when I started living it to just for other people, wow, things really changed.
Absolutely. One of the things that my goal moving forward is I want this to be a community unity project. I titled it that this year because I feel as that it's not about Meka. It's about us joining together collectively to bring out and bless families during the holidays. So community unity is every organization, every business, those who want to. This is a joint effort in feeding those who are within the city. And prayerfully, I want this same event to move from city to city, to have someone who's in Galveston that'll be a spokesperson that will have this same event during the same time in another city or another state. So we can say a worldwide, eventually, nationwide, eventually, it'll be a share the feast on this certain day all over the country. So that is my goal and my vision for Share the Feast.
What a way to honor your brother too. Like that is it, you know, keeping it alive.
Yeah.
So 2020, as you say, 2020 has been a rough one. So as we ended on the good note with the events, and we head into 2021 on the horizon, what's next for you and the Visible Evidence brand?
Man, so I picked my business apart in 2020. You might as well say from the beginning of 2020, I put it back together. So now it's really just moving forward, being a strong force, being more educated. I want more clients that are national. One of the things that I'm doing right now too is I'm scaling my business. So I am looking for those in specific areas that I can scale my business to. It's a consulting firm. So with a consulting firm, there are many umbrellas that it's many legs, it's many people that's up under the umbrella. We do event planning, we do digital marketing, we also do community outreach, we have PR, we got graphic design. So all of that fits under the umbrella. So I'm looking for specific people and media. So I'm looking for specific people in different areas that I can scale. They can become my strategic partner so that we can expand in a larger brand, because we have those people in place and we're able to accept all of the clients that are coming to the company.
To just help somebody. Let's say I am one of those people who is nationwide. And so I see this and I say, I want to come to Visible Evidence to expand the reach and my growth on social media. What would be the first thing you would tell them to maximize their time?
Well, what I would do first, and this is what I tell my clients, to do a brand analysis. We do a brand analysis because a lot of people don't even know what they need. They have some things that they can use, but then they have a lot of stuff that they don't. And let's just be honest. During this pandemic, there are a lot of people who woke up one morning and said, I want to start a business, and really don't have the expertise in that business. And so it makes it harder for those who do. And so, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that everybody is looking into entrepreneurship, but there is a foundation to building your business. There's a right way and there's a get by. And so don't get by if you want to have longevity in your business. So I would say do a brand analysis, go through your social media platforms, everything you have, your logo, your website, get with someone who can strategically show you how these can actually be beneficial. These platforms can be beneficial. I always do the brand analysis first because I want to know what your goals are. If you tell me what your goals are and I do a strategic plan to look at what you actually have, then I can tell you, okay, this is what you need to do in order to reach the goal that you're trying to reach. So I always say it's good to pick your business apart and let somebody show you how different platforms can actually be beneficial, because you'll be paying for things and not getting a return on your investment because you don't even know how to use it. Yeah. So that would be the first thing that I would tell them to do, to let somebody look at your business and get a strategic plan in place, and then do the movement after the plan is in place and you can actually see the return on your investment.
Powerful information. Powerful. Before we go, can you give us the info on the event one more time, and also how to get in contact with you?
Absolutely. So the event again is on November the 15th, 2020. So about 2 weeks from now. The boxing of the event will start at between 9 and 11. It is at Good Hope Missionary Baptist Church in 3rd Ward off of North McGregor. We are accepting all kinds of items when it comes to the trimmings that goes in a Thanksgiving dinner. You can bring them there, or you can give a monetary donation. You can reach out to me on any of my social media platforms. I'm Meka Diamond on Facebook, as well as Meka_Diamond on Instagram. Or you can catch me on the Morning Tea Radio Show every Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 in the morning on gmtradio.com. Anyway, we'll be blessed with anything that we receive, whether it be a monetary donation, whether it be an item that we need to put in the box. The families will be blessed. So we're just excited about November the 15th, sharing the feast, the 4th annual, blessing families during the Thanksgiving holiday. And then you will be blessed because of the seeds you sow into this event.
I just want to say thank you for taking some time to share all the good things you're doing. To talk about the event, how we want to help some families in our community, and also for representing that leaf.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
All right, well, that'll do it for us. This is KT for KTTV signing out. 100.